Hi guys, today I'm filming part 2 of my mini series on if I had to cut my collection in half. I've been doing this on my channel since 2020. I will have my previous year's playlist linked down below, and it is interesting that some of the products that I had in previous years, they were in different piles in past videos. Not everything, but a couple of things that surprised me. And basically with this series, it is just an experiment. It is just for fun. I am going category by category through the products in my collection and making an immediate gut reaction of keep and pass, cutting my category in half. And that was part 1. I sped it up a little bit. I did it to music, so definitely check that out if you're interested, but I'm going to be talking a little bit more about the products in part 2 and part 3. Today's video is going to be just about complexions and cheeks. This is going to be a little bit longer, but I will try not to ramble too much. I will have pictures on the screen of the keep and the pass pile just as a refresher for you, and I will just jump on in. I am sick, as you can probably tell from my voice, so I apologize if I sound funny, and I do have some water down here in case my throat gets dry. There might be some jump cuts from coughing because it has been off the chain, and my nose spray is starting to wear off, so I'm getting a little bit stuffier. To start with face primer, I had 11, so that meant 6 keeps and 5 passes. This was actually pretty easy for me. So for the passes, the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Perfector Glow Makeup is something that I'm panning right now, and honestly I don't love it as much as I did in the past. I feel like it's a little bit greasier. And then the Dr. Brandt Pore Refiner Primer has been one of my favorite pore fillers in the past, and I do think it's really good. However, I don't feel like I actually need a pore filling primer anymore. I feel like it's fine if I just use it like an overall smoothing primer. And then the Laura Geller Original and Hydrate Primers are new to me, so I haven't got to test them out to see if I love them or not. And then that Caliray So Blown Clean Blurring Primer, I need to use it again. When I initially started using it, I felt like my skin was like a little bit red or like irritated by it slightly, but it could have been other things that I had going on at the time, so definitely need to use it again. And then for the keeps, the e.l.f. Halo Glow Liquid Filter I do think is quite nice. I'm so excited they came out with more shades though, because shade number 1 is a little dark for me. Becca Backlight Priming Filter I know has been discontinued. It is my favorite glowy primer because it's a nice champagne shade and it does not make me oily. I really wish that Smashbox picked up this product as well, but I do have a couple of them in my collection, so that's why I said in the keep pile. And the Too Faced Pride and Peachy has been discontinued as well, but I still have it and really like it. Hourglass Vanish, super expensive and is a nice smoothing primer. Smashbox Primerizer, one of my favorite for hydration. And then the Glow Recipe is new, but I'm liking it so far. For foundation and skin tints, I had 19, so that meant keep 10, pass 9, and this was pretty easy for me as well. So really when I went through these categories, for the most part, I went with like the immediate, like obvious keeps and passes, and then had to do a little back and forth. So for me, the Caliray Free Dreaming Skin Tint, I'm panning right now. I'm not loving it as much as I was when I first started using it. It's not wearing that well on me. NARS foundation is overrated. The Maybelline Skin Tint is like kind of weird. And the Lawless Concealer Deal is too light for me. The Oma by Sharon C I thought was good, but I'm not like as in love as I am with my other foundations. Smashbox Halo Tint Moisturizer, not a lot of coverage for me. And then the other 3 that were left were the ones that were a little bit tougher. The Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless, that almost has too much coverage and like a little bit of a scent that I don't like. The RMS Re-Evolve is a nice foundation. Too Faced Peach Perfect is also a nice foundation. So those 3 were the ones that I would love to have put in the keep pile if I could. And then for the keeps, that Profusion Feel Good Skin is one of the best drugstore foundations I've ever tried. And then all the other ones here I just really love. I do want to reuse the Pure 4-in-1 Love Yourselfie. It's been a little bit since I've used that one, and the NARS Soft Matte, but I know that I really loved them when I first tried them out. For concealers, I had 10, so 5 keeps, 5 passes. This was pretty easy for me as well. So for the passes, I put the Tower 28 shade. That was more of the corrector color for me. The NYX Bear With Me Serum Concealer I'm almost done with. I love the formula, but I would like it better if it came in an applicator with a wand. Benefit Blowing K-Cluss Concealer is just fine. Smashbox Halo has very little coverage. Dominique Cosmetics is a good formula, but the shade's too dark for me. I'm using it up right now as a corrector. And then the keeps that I have, KVD Good Apple Serum, the Tower 28 in BU, Tarte Shape Tape, Estee Lauder Double Wear, and then the Coffee Concealer. I really do like the Coffee Concealer so far, but if this was in another time when I still had my Kosas concealer, that would take the place of the Coffee. I do like that one more, but from what I had there, I am really happy with that 5, and I do feel good about my concealer collection because I am really working on getting them down. So a lot of the things in the pass pile should, fingers crossed, be done by the end of the year anyway. For face powders, I have 13, so keep 7, pass 6, and face powders are products that I go through pretty quickly, and I am hoping to pan a lot of these next year. I've already finished a lot of powders this year, but unfortunately they were powders that I had backups of. So this was a little tough for me. I think I could have possibly swapped some of these now that I'm looking at it. So for the keeps, definitely my Derma Blend loose powder. You guys know I love that one. Definitely Rimmel Stay Matte for touch up. The Jaclyn Glowy powder I have in there for variety's sake. I wouldn't repurchase it, but again, nice for variety, although I haven't used it in a while, but I'm planning on panning it next year. And then the Too Faced Born This Way powder I do think is really nice. The loose version, Maybelline Fit Me, is good. The Kosas Cloud Set powder is a nice pressed powder in the more winter months for me. And then the Lawless pressed powder is new, and that's why I'm keeping it. But in the passes, part of me feels like I should have put the Too Faced Peach Perfect powder instead of the Lawless one because I use loose powder more. And the Peach Perfect, I love the way it mattifies the skin. It gives a super smooth finish, but it is too dark for me and too peachy. But I did keep my Maybelline Fit Me, which I could mix with it. And the reason I kept the Too Faced Born This Way over the Peach Perfect is that in the past I've had to use Maybelline with the Born This Way, but when I panned it this year, it worked on its own for me. So that's why I kept that one, and it's such a good powder. And then the other passes would be some more pressed powders because that's just not my favorite right now. The ColourPop Pretty Fresh, though, is a very good pressed powder. It is not a powder foundation. It is a pressed powder. Super smooth. It's really nice. The e.l.f. powder foundation is a little too powdery. The Too Faced one is fine. I do want to see if I can pan that next year. The Ciate Extraordinary Loose Powder, I haven't tried that one yet, but I've heard it has a coconut scent. And then I have that little sample of the Laura Mercier Talc-Free Loose Powder, which I haven't tried yet, but I would, of course, keep a full size over a mini. Again, especially because I haven't tried the formula. So I might have wanted to swap the Lawless Pressed Powder and the Too Faced Peach Perfect, but otherwise I feel pretty good about this, even though like these are all good powders. I'm hoping to, like I said, pan a lot of these next year. For setting sprays, I have 7, keep 4, pass 3. This is pretty easy for me. I really do like the original MAC Fix Plus and Urban Decay All Nighter, and I would have been fine with just those, but I do want to keep the Ultra Matte All Nighter, which I haven't tried yet, and I really do like the NYX Dewy Finish setting spray. And then for the passes, I have the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless. I don't get it. I'm panning that right now. Don't get it. The Morphe Mattifying Continuous Setting Mist, my packaging is messed up. I would love your tips on how to like get this to spray. And then the Benefit Professional Super Setter. I don't love the mister on the bottle. The formula is like fine, but I did not love it as much as the original like regular Urban Decay All Nighter. So this is a pretty easy category for me. For my cream and liquid bronzers, I had 18, so that might keep 9 and pass 9. And there is a product that I want to swap here, and that would be the Tarte Breezy Cream Bronzer in Seychelles. I had that in the keep pile, and in the pass pile I had the Persona Bronzer Stick and Dune. And that's because the Tarte is a nice formula and the color works a little bit better for me than the Persona, but I feel like I just really want to keep the Persona one. I'm so excited they came out with that new shade Mojave because I feel like that would work really well for my skin tone. So you know, those I could go either way on because they both have great formulas. The Tarte is just a little bit of a better color, but for some reason in my head I would rather have the Persona. I don't know. But my other keeps would be the Patrick Ta Cream Cheek Duo in She's Bronzed and She's Sculpted, I believe. Then I have the Tower 28 Cream Bronzers in West Coast, which is one of the shimmer versions, and then Broad, which is the matte version. Then I have both of my Cosmetics contour and bronzer sticks. So the bronzer shade is Summer, contour shade is Terra, and then my Merit Bronzing Stick in Clay, Makeup by Mario Skin Enhancer in light medium. I would be so happy just having these right here. I love these colors and these formulas are so nice. Again, like in my mind, I feel like I would rather swap out the Tarte for Persona Mojave, which I don't even have yet, but like then we would be like perfect. And then in the Pass Pal, the Rare Beauty ones, I really wish I returned those when I had initially bought them because the formula I feel like is a little bit patchy and neither of those undertones work well for me. The NARS Laguna, I feel undertone does not work for me either. It's a little green. And then the Kaja Cheek True I do think is nice. I just need to reach for it more. The e.l.f. Putty Bronzer I think is good, but I don't love it as much as the other things. I have not tried the Drunk Elephant De-Bronzy Drops yet because I'm still working on that Bare Minerals liquid bronzer, which is a little bit too like orangey for me. And then I have the Smashbox Halo Highlighting Contouring Liquid Concealer Pen, and it is just way too warm on me. So for liquid and cream blushes, I had 35, which meant 18 keeps, 17 passes. So I kept both of my Patrick Ta blush duos in She's Blushing and She's Flushed, one of the new colors. Kept both of my Laura Geller Serum blushes in Practical Pink and Poppy Peach. They just released 5 more shades, which I really want to try because this is such a good formula. Literally the easiest liquid blush I've ever used. Then from the Rare Beauty blushes, I kept Bliss, which is the full-size peachy one, and then Adore, which is the mini more pink shade. Kept my Merit blush sticks in Fox and Stockholm. My Cosmetics blush sticks in Lychee and Demure. Of course, my Bare Minerals Bounce and Blur blushes, all 4 shades. Then I have Sigma Cream Blush in Corday Rosa, Melt Honey Thief, Makeup by Mario Just Peachy, and the Say Peach Glow. Then the passes, this was pretty easy. Both of the Phytosurgeon shades, they're just a little bit too pigmented for me. The Natasha Denona Rose Cheek Duo, I wish I returned that when I had the chance. Then I have a deeper shade of the Merit Tower 28 Magic Hour and the Tarte Peach Sunset. Those are just fine to me. I have a Beauty Counter Kiko and MAC in Blush Please. I think the Glow Play blushes are good, but I'm not as obsessed as other people are. The Jaclyn Cosmetics blush stick, the shade is just so-so. Cosmetics Serum blushes, and then a couple other shades of the Rare Beauty liquid blushes and the Persona Teddy. Persona is probably the harder one to put in this pile, so if I could have kept one more, it would have been the Persona Teddy. For powder bronzer, I have 21, so I got to keep 11, pass on 10. This was definitely a little bit harder for me, but not impossible. So for my keeps, the Kosas Sunshow bronzer in the lighter shade Waves that Lauren Mae Beauty's been recommending, Anastasia Saddle, Jaclyn Cosmetics Vitamin D, Too Faced Sweethearts and Sweet Tea, which unfortunately has been discontinued. That's an amazing glowy bronzer. Huda Beauty Glowish in Light, Nabla Ombre. I think the lighter shade I have, which is just light, and the L'Oreal Infallible Fresh Wear bronzer, Sigma Matte bronzer in Light, Vesca Kiss by Santorini, Benefit Hoola, and Cosmetics Slip. Passes the Marc Jacobs bronzer. I like that one for the springtime. I'm not as obsessed as other people. The Laura Geller Baked bronzer, it's in medium. It's super pigmented, so it's a little deep for me. Physicians Formula Butter bronzer in the regular bronzer shade. I do love this. Again, great for spring, but I've panned it and got a little bored of it because it took me a long time. Then Becca Capri Coast, fine, don't have to have. Kosas Sunshow in Beachy, which is the second shade. It's fine. Cover FX Sun Kissed Bronze, a little deep. Then I had the L'Oreal in Light Medium, which is something I would use more in the hollow of my cheeks because it's a little darker. Too Faced Milk Chocolate Soleil. Took me a long time to pan, a little bit tired of it. Fenty Shady Biz, fine. And then Sigma in Medium. Again, I got that to more concentrate in the cheekbone area. I have 63 blushes, which meant keep 32 past 31. This was really hard. I did go back and forth a little bit, even though I had a big group that I was like, okay, these are pass. Then I still had so many more to come up with to add to the pass pile. So again, looking at the keeps makes me excited, but some of those passes really hurt me. So the keeps, I have all of my Bare Minerals bronzers, all 4 of my Persona blushes. I have from Buxom, Mykonos and Dolly. From Becca, I have Flower Child, Snapdragon, and Camellia is the small one. And then those little mini NARS blushes are Goulet and Orgasm X. I have House Labs Pomelo Peach, Pat McGrath Cosmic Coral Duo, and Nude Venus. I have both of my Sigma blushes, Tiger Lily and Sunset Kiss. All 3 of my Nabla. I have MAC Mineralized Blush in Gentle. All 5 of my RMS blushes. And then from Benefit, I have Pom Pom, Terra, and Moon. So then in the pass pile, the ones that I had a hard time putting over here would be Ciate First Date, Becca Snapdragon, MAC Peach Twist, and then that top row of my MAC blush palette, which would be Melba, Cantaloupe, and Gingerly. Those are the ones that were really tough for me. And then the other blushes I have here would be all of my M Cosmetics ones. I have sort of like stopped going after every M Cosmetics release. Then I've got some Tarte blushes. I'm just like out of love with the formula. Some of the Ciate ones are not must-haves for me. I have a shade of the Buxom that looks a little weird on me. And then these other Benefit blushes I think are fine, not amazing. Dior Rosewood and the Too Faced Cloud Crush are new blushes to me, but I'm not like obsessed with them so far. So it would be hard to actually let go of these as well, but I do feel really happy looking at the keeps if I could slide in a few more of those passes, but I feel like I ended up with like a really good selection. For highlighters, I had 20, keep 10, pass 10. Keeps Ofra, Milk and Cookies, Pillow Talk, and The Hills, Benefit Tickle and Cookie, Jaclyn Cosmetics Iced, Becca Champagne Pop, Anastasia Amrezy, Nabla Ozone, and Caliray Starlight Beach. And for the passes, we have Ofra, Space Baby, Star Island, Cloud 9, and Glazed Donut, Laura Mercier Matte Baked Radiance Powder, M Cosmetics, Clarity, Sigma, Savannah, Moonbeam, Rare Beauty, and Lighten, whatever the lightest color is, and Jaclyn Cosmetics Sparks. So this was actually very easy for me. I have, started to like those Sigma highlighters a little bit more, but I still feel like with the keeps, these colors and these formulas are just so great for me. I feel really good looking at these keeps. And lastly, we have face palettes. I had 20, keep 10, pass 10. This was a little harder, but broken record, feel good about the keeps. So for the keeps, Artist Couture Love Sprung Blush Palette Volume 1, Pat McGrath face palette, which has Divine Rose Blush, Desert Orchid Blush, and then a highlighter. Jaclyn Cosmetics Winter Sun face palette, Jouer, Champagne and Macarons, the lighter version, Sigma Corday Rosa blush palette, Lunar Beauty Moon Prism blush palette, and then my favorite duos from Sigma, Cinderella, the holiday one from last year, and Berry Glow, and then the Hourglass Unlocked face palette, which I still feel is one of the best ones they've ever done. Pass pile, I love the Sigma Glow Kissed highlighter formula, but not all those shades work for me. I don't need a whole palette. That Lunar Beauty Nude Prism blush palette, I really wish I didn't get that. The colors just are not exactly me. Benefit Earth Angel, there was only one new product in there, and I have Hoola and Tickle, and I don't like Georgia, so I shouldn't have gotten that. Lorac Luxe Diamond, that's an amazing highlighter formula, but again, I just don't reach for it. I am not someone that should buy highlighter palettes because of my skin tone. If I had a medium skin tone, yes. That Hourglass face palette, I just have not as much love to, and I like the other one better. The NARS Narcissist Wanted One palette, I wanted it so bad, and it's good but not amazing. I don't get the hype on NARS blushes. That MAC highlight palette is like fine, don't need it. And then that Pat McGrath cheek trio, the shades are a little bit too pinky for me. And then the ones that were hard would be that Sigma, the glittery duo, but it has Corte Rosa blush in here, which I already have in the big palette, but I really love that highlight. And then this Alice in Wonderland duo, shade wise, is my least favorite out of all of the duos. So that's how it ended up in here. But ooh, those other face palettes are so good. I really need to get some more use out of my face palettes. So guys, that was me going through and sharing all of the products I would hypothetically keep and pass from my complexion and cheek collections. This was tough for me, but I also apologize for how often I use the words, but I feel really good about what I have in the past pile. Please tell me you do not make this a drinking game. But I do, and this series really does help me to clutter more things. Not half of my collection, not even close, but there are a lot of things that I already plan on panning next year, or like after this I decided to add to my list or declutter, or things that ended in the past pile, but I still love them. So a little bit of those different things going on. I would love to hear your thoughts. If you tried these products, I would love to know if you guys did this in your collection and would like to share it on here or Instagram. I think that'd be super fun. And I hope you guys enjoy this series, and stay tuned for the next part where I'll be going over all of my eye products, including palettes, and my lip products, including all of the bazillions of glosses that I have. So the glosses and the palettes, that took me some time. But I thank y'all so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye guys.